Well folks, welcome back to the workshop. Still plenty of machines to do here. The question is, where do we start? I will do a few different videos. Leave the bottom ones for a while yet. And we'll start on the shelves. 4 different shelves here. So let's pick one and start doing the repairs on it. I think we'll start with this one. That one, or we'll do this one. It doesn't matter which. And we'll start off with this one. Bosch grinder. Might have even had this one on before. Looks like one of my plugs. She turns anyway. Not doing anything. Check the brushes here first. No, brand new set of brushes, look. Just in case. Lead's been pulled out or somebody's been added on. It's never the fuse. Obvious one to check is that other brush holder actually. Sometimes we leads break. We're on here now. Let's test this. Right, lead is okay. Right, that's okay. We're going through all the obvious stuff first. Just close that back up for now. Keep it together. Not what I was thinking actually. And that's a brand new settler. So in other words, just stop dead. You can see the mark. Actually, maybe a bad segment there too, look. Or that's just where the brushes were sitting. That one's alright. I should have kept that switch open. Sometimes these wee connectors on here just break, connecting up the field. That one's been modified. It's just been squashed together, but it is connected. It's giving me nothing. Right, one side's broken. Right. Take it out or replace. I'm going to replace the field, or I could just stick in a second hand one, to be honest. One of these must be gone, just in the middle. Normally the leads actually break off. Something actually snap off of here. It's not what's happened here. It has just failed. Right, this looks really old. It's actually not. It's only a 2020, it's only 5 years old. It's just got a lot of work. I actually don't have one of these fields in stock, that's my problem. If it was older, I might have, but I don't have this newer one. That's not too big a problem because these aren't all that dissimilar. I don't have a straight swap. I was hoping to just taking a burnt out one and just swapping over the bodies, but apparently can't do that either. I'm going to have to replace. Just unhook all this stuff and we'll get it out. I don't have the second hand body, but I do have the second hand field. So this is just a GWS 22/230 240 volt. Just pulled out of another machine sitting up on the shelf, so this will do for this. And these have a wee tab here, pushes out. Should it be in the inside here? You have to get something in to fold it in order to remove the wee spade connector. It's easier said than done. It's not even essential. If we keep the leads, we just need the wee plastic holder, but we could do without that too. Ah, would you come out? No, looking at this the wrong way. That one's bent backwards. It's down that way. them in. Take this out. So one of these will be dead. That one's okay. That one's dead. So it's broken somewhere inside. It's actually rubbing there too, look. So an internal brake. I'll stick this in instead and get her up and run. Make sure you don't catch these. It has to come up to here. Trap them in. Put the brush holders on later. Put this back on to keep that wee badge safe. I'm actually going to write down them numbers first, just for my repair sheets. That's just so I can take note of the serial number, keep all records and details of the machines. That bad I'll not be able to make them out. I'll put this back together again. Make sure that's in the right spot there. Yeah. And the air deflector's still stuck in the head here. Just make sure these wee contacts, there's two little legs on them. Make sure they're sitting in between with this here sliding on. So that's what's actually holding it down. That clamps that lead, so you can put this here lead onto it. Should be this Bosch grinder up and running. I'll also just tidy up this plug a wee bit because I don't like having the leads hanging out like that. Right, that's a bit neater. Which side did I have that on? There's this side. See if she runs now. Much better. One field, even better. One second hand field. Always good to use up a second hand part. The customer will like it because it costs a lot less to actually buy the field for that there grinder. It costs around €50. And these ones aren't the most expensive in the world. You think you can pick these particular Bosch grinders up. These 22/230 hitch machines. You can pick them up for about €130 or €140. So that'll keep it priced down for them and make it much more worthwhile than actually fixing. Now, this one should be nice and easy. Dewalt nut gun. And she's broke the anvil on her. It's actually sounding a bit rough up here too. But they're normally worth fixing. But you can't actually just buy the anvil on their own anymore now. Now you have to replace the whole gearbox housing up in here, which is a little bit more expensive. But seeing as this one's got a bit of play and she's a bit noisy, it's probably more worth replacing the whole thing anyway. It couldn't be easier. 4 screws. Now powering these aren't going to be the best, but you can't fault Dewalt for the long-term performance. Some of these things take an absolute beating. This one here's rough enough, but I've seen them in a way worse state than this. And they can be fixed up as long as it's not a motor problem. But it's better when you can just replace the anvil on its own. So get rid of that. And get rid of that. We'll just have a quick wee peek at this. Those are just your internals for your gearbox. Not really much on it. Same as any nut gun. There's not really much to go wrong either. You could wash that out if you like. But to be honest, it's not really going to do anything for you. I'd only wash this out if there's actual contamination. There's a little bit of discoloration up here, but the rest is just dark grease anyway. So there's nothing actually wrong in there. We'll top up the grease, but we'll not wash the whole thing out. This is the part we're after. N866411. Cost about €90 for this thing. This is the downside. Used to be cheaper, just replacing the anvil. So the whole housing makes it a little bit more expensive. So that's what you're getting. Instead of here, is your actual anvil, and this is a wee nylon ring for sitting at the bottom. I'm going to put a good bit of grease down in there because there's little fins that sort of hold it, and then this just sits on top. You really don't need much grease in these things, but I would recommend getting a little bit under here. See inside, there's a little shoulder inside the steel bush. That can be used like a little reservoir for grease, so that it doesn't dry out. Get a little bit packed in there. That's really all you need. That is about all the grease you need. Any more than that and you're going to start causing it to leak out onto the motor section. Back here isn't actually sealed up. It's only the bearing really holding the grease on. So if you overfill it, it'll start leaking onto the motor. Now you'd think they'd give you 4 screws as well, seeing as you're changing the whole front. It will not squabble over that. That's it. Broken anvil replaced. These ones do have a tendency to snap. They probably break more than any other brand. But then the impactors also do quite a bit of work as well. You can see they've modified this now. It used to be a plain steel bush. So eventually this will start wearing out and you'll hear it burling and vibrating and making a horrible sound. I mean, it's actually dry and there's no grease inside of here causing it to might cause a sound. But a WD-40 bit of grease or oil or something just onto here and that'll quieten it down. But eventually these steel bushes wear out as well, especially when they start to rust like this. I'll start wearing them out even faster and start wobbling around. New anvil, new gearbox housing, new steel bush. Keep it all nice and tight and running smooth. That's her. One Dewalt DCF899 with a new gearbox housing. That'll keep it running for a few more years. Now, these ones have seen some work. 2 Milwaukee SDS drills. These are actually 2 different models, the M18CHX and the CH. So this is the older one, this is the newer one, I think. No, maybe this one's the newer one. So this one, the chuck ain't great. Right, that's not driving. She's hammering, but she's slipping on drill mode. Something's broken on there, or else disengaged. Actually, there's a wee bag with us. Right, that's the clutch ring. So it needs a clutch. I'll not have that, so it'll not be fixed today. This one might just need a chuck. Actually, that one could do with a chuck too, actually. But this isn't a replaceable one. That's a cap and just a sleeve, so if I'm ordering that, I'll order that stuff as well. Right, she's working. And she is hammering. Got me right onto the top there. Right, so that's just a chuck. I don't have that either, so that'll have to be ordered on as well. Plus she's got a little bit of an oil leak. But if it's only a chuck, we don't need to worry too much about that as long as she's hammering and drilling. What is she? 2020. That is generally how Milwaukee just go. They run hard and fast and die young. These ones haven't died, but they do just wear out extremely fast. The gearbox and the motor are attached together and then the handle's separate. So eventually everything just starts coming loose. But in their defence, the motor doesn't normally start rubbing like this here in this here particular model because she's bolted onto here. So it's not a rubbing problem, it is just a feel problem, just the way they actually go. That's what they do. And the batteries is the worst thing. Any of the Milwaukee tools that take vibrations, the battery terminals, the wee contacts in the body just wear away. They are not planning on these things lasting long. They don't want you to be running them too long. Eventually the batteries just do this here, start hanging out. Whenever you get your big 9 amp or 12 amp big heavy duty Milwaukee batteries into this, they love that because it's even more weight and you just wear out these here tools 10 times faster. So that one can be fixed. It's about 50 or 60 euro for a chuck. So we'll order one of them in. Maybe we'll pack this out a wee bit to make it a little bit better, but there will not be much we can do because she's also hanging down the way. It's not just the fact that it's sticking in, it's actually dropped down as well. And this is a fresh battery too. Right, so these aren't going to be fixed now. They'll have to have parts ordered for it. I'll order that there clutch kit and we'll order that there chuck and the sleeve and the cap as well. That there ring, that won't be available separately. That'll be a part of a kit. That'll probably cost another 30 or 40 euro, but it'll still be worth putting it onto this thing as long as there's nothing else wrong with it. But I'm not going to bother stripping them apart. I'll do that whenever they come in. I'll just wait for the parts till then, so that'll probably be a different video. Now, next up we've got a sick machine. Now this is actually an old favourite. These here are a JEI magnetic drill. These are either based on or they have the rights to the old Slugger machines. And the Slugger was a fantastic magnetic drill. These are just basically identical to them. Not as good as the older Sluggers. Obviously modern stuff was never as good as older stuff. But they're the next best thing. They actually are a nice machine to actually use, and they're very well built. Especially these steel rays on the side. That's what anybody using magnetic drills all the time likes these here. Simply for the rails. Now, let's see what's actually wrong with her here. So the magnet's on already. This is from a steel fabricator, and he much prefers these here particular machines. He always used the Slugger, so he was happy when he found out this company does the same thing. Oh, that's not good. Don't know if that's stripped gears or stripped bearings. We'll get in and find out. You can repair the motors in these as well. You can buy the armature, you can buy all the parts for them, or you can just buy the whole motor housing. I know this particular fella has done that a few times with the Sluggers. Pull these out first because we're going to go the whole way in. Brushes are gone too. Sure, she's been getting a bit of work, you know. Yeah, not much left of them. Right, there's an awkward bit about this again. What was it? Don't get these on too often. But remember, there is a wee hidden screw. I think it's on the other plate. That's just your wee coolant feed. Pop that out. We can lift this out. I think it normally just stays on the housing. What's gone? Is it a broken tooth or a bad bearing? They actually don't look too bad. That bearing's okay. It's just a wee plate on the bottom of the armature. It actually screws onto this plate. Just take these out and then pull out the motor. And that wee hidden screw. through there. To take that out before you can pull all this out. One side's not too bad, a wee bit of grease up on here, but they always go like that. Right, looks like it has a bearing. See what I mean by good quality? Look at that thing. This is the JEI one. Even look at the armature. See how smooth it is. See how well finished and all resin coated here. It's nicely finished. That's gone. There's the cage there. The balls coming out of it. Look. I think that's an oil seal. Yeah, one bad bearing. Change that. Clean this. Don't know if there's much I can do with that. And I might clean that air deflector as well. I'll get this back together with a new bearing. Right, the oil seal ain't so much an oil seal, more of a piece of plastic. That's all that is. So we ran, we're using it because it wasn't doing much beforehand. Pull off the old bearing seal. See what size of bearing it is. It's actually an FAG bearing. 609. This one must be a 607 FAG as well. So replace the two of these. Well, not completely gone. It's just starting to go. There's the bearings. That's actually fitting on like this. Slide that on behind the bearing. Drop it on top. With it hopefully not dropping out. Then you've got to line up the holes, put these back in again. There's your motor ready. Just drop that back in on top. No, not yet. We need that screw in actually. I'll leave that for now. Also have to get a set of brushes for this as well. I just pull this out, give it a quick clean. Not exactly necessary, but just leave it tidied up. And just pull back this lead. Don't take it back too much. Just have it sticking on the end. This middle metal bracket here, this little clamp, just hold it on there. Get your wee sneaky screw back in first. And on your clutch. Just in case. I'm not going to wash out this whole gearbox because the rest of it should be alright. The bearing should have failed up inside the motor side, not down on here. Yeah, that's okay. And it'll just pick up any loose bits of metal if there's anything in it. It seems okay. Drop that in. It's a nice wee machine to work on, just nothing overly complicated about it, especially when you just get under the motor. The question is now, do I have any brushes for this? That's what I don't know. It's been a while since I ever ordered anything from them. So you wouldn't get too many of these things in for repair. If I don't have the brushes, I'm wondering if there's anything else similar. Check for these first, and if not, see if I can get anything that'll match. Look at that. I think these are the actual original ones too. They're not on the original packaging, but they look right enough. Just give it a quick clean. Do tend to get a wee bit grubby. Should be the job. Push that in. Drop it down. Magnetic drills can be a bit of a torture to work on sometimes. But these ones, I never mind working on. especially when it's just bearings in the motor. They're quick and easy. Now, let's see what that sounds like now. What about wrong with that? 2 U bearings, and that keeps us good quality machine up and running again. I mean, what's that? €12 for bearings, €20 for a set of brushes, and it keeps us here €600 machine up and running. That's why I like these things. They're well built, they're heavy duty, they do the work, and they're repairable, and repairable for quite a good money too. Changing bearings isn't all that expensive. They don't really go wrong all that much, and when they do, they're fairly cheap to fix. So these things in the long run end up paying for themselves. Plus, they're JEI Solutions. They're actually a UK company, and they're actually made in Europe as well. So it's one of the odd machines that's not just made in China like everything else. But that's her, up and running again. It'll keep this man drilling for a while longer. Now, next up we got a Bosch 36 volt. I think this one, well, I think it might be an easy enough fix. Easy enough to get the part in that. The part's cheap enough, but not the easiest thing in the world to just replace. But still manageable. That's if it is the problem. Maybe it's not. Something going on here. Thought it might have been this here, look. Battery retainers, they're all burnt up. There's actually dent back here as well. But it's not sounding healthy inside either. I'll have to just see if this can be fixed. Yes, it's just a motor. These things are worth putting a motor onto, and they're worth putting a controller onto. Both cost about the same money. But if it's a controller problem, they're a bit more risky. Simply because if the motor also gets trouble, or if the motor's near worn out, because there's only a brushed motor. What's going on here? If the motor's also gone, it's not really worth doing, because then you're replacing 2 expensive parts. I'll let out a wee bit. Take all these screws out too. The retainer, if that burns up, it can happen because it's an SDS drill. The contacts burn up on you. You can replace it on its own. You just have to do a wee bit of soldering to get it done. Yeah, that motor's gone. Totally worn out actually. Right, I think we'll just do the 2 of these. I get this what the problem is anyway. These things get old, they don't like to come out. Yeah, they're all the way down. And actually, it's seized as well. So before we do anything, we'll test that. We'll put a new motor on and test the controller to make sure it works first. Because if that's seized and drawn too much current, it could easily have blown this too. And you wouldn't want to be replacing the two of them. So we just test that first to make sure. Yeah, we try to keep at least one of these in stock because they are a recurring part. Brushes in the DC motor wear out. You replace the whole DC motor. So you go through a few of these every once in a while. And just be careful now, you're not shorting anything out. See what I mean? Nothing. Even the LED light stopped working. Nah, too far gone. We're going to have to leave that one. And back away again. Keep it safe for the next person that needs it. If you're wondering if this is gone, a bad controller is not going to burn out a DC motor, but a DC motor that's gone bad can do damage to a controller. So there's too many problems with this here. That needs to be changed. It burns out like this here, look. See the contacts are all burnt away, worn away. If that happens to you, see down here? That's just the vibrations. And it's losing contact and arcing and just eating away at the metal. Every little spark takes a little chunk of metal away. Just eventually it wears it away till it's gone. It starts losing connection then. So if that loses connection when you're drilling, you'll be drilling on no problem, and then you just all of a sudden stop dead. You look with the trigger, pull it again. That'll work. You know it's that day whenever it only does it whenever you're actually drilling at the hole and the vibrations start shaking the machine, and then it stops. If that happens and this is worn, you can replace this. The problem is, if this goes, you always check your motor. If the brushes are worn down like that, even halfway worn, it's not really worth putting the controller on, because eventually you have to spend the exact same money again replacing this, and the two together is costing over €300 to replace. You're better off just replacing the machine, to be quite honest with you. If the motor wears out, popping a new one, you're costing €150. But if this also goes, it's just not worth it. If this stops and you think the motor's alright, unless the motor brushes are still basically new, it's just not worth doing. So this one, it's just a no-go. One of the reasons to always keep one of them motors in stock too, so you can just do a quick wee test. Because there's no real way to test that controller apart from just hooking up a motor. Now we have to get everything stuck back in here. I would suspect this has actually been changed before. This isn't the first motor got onto this thing, because they come with these little black rings all the way down. Come up with 3 or 4 of them on there. Sometimes if people don't know where they go, they just tend to just break them off. So I'd say somebody's actually changed this already themselves in the past. We're talking years ago. They just broke them off whenever they were changing it. And this would have been, this will be its second motor change, or potentially even third. You just don't know. Wouldn't be a big fan of these machines either. These newer 36 volt Bosch. They're a good machine, don't get me wrong. If you need that power, they're one of the best ones to get. But I never liked the way they went back to that DC motor. And the older model was a universal motor. So the older one you could change the brushes on it. These ones you can't. Instead of going to a brushless machine, they took a step back for some reason. Never liked them for that reason. Still broken. It'll remain like that. But it's not going to be worth replacing the 2 of them there and the battery thinner as well. Better off just replacing the whole thing. I mean, she has a 2016 machine. Just nearly got 10 years of work done. So that could easily be already its second motor. So you'd be putting in a third one again, if not its fourth, for that length of time. So that one ain't worth fixing. Now, next up we have a Bosch cordless grinder. Yeah, we got a water damage here too, look. Battery's a little slack, so she's been doing a bit of work. It's like 2023, mind you. Working, that's a good thing. But there's something going on in there. Maybe a bearing or something. She's running, just not running 100% smooth. This has a separate recoupling. Coupling's on the fan itself, so the head's fine. Yeah, something on the motor here. The switch to the screwdriver. There's too narrow and deep a hole. Cut the wee label. Basic enough on the inside, simple wee switch. Heavy enough looking motor anyway. A big controller, all aluminium heat sinks down the bottom of it. And she's clearly done a wee bit of work. Yeah, she's rubbing just here, look. Bearings are still working. that one's alright. This one's on its way out. That one's not going to be easy to change. I'll have to press off this gear in order to change that one. .625 or 624. 625. So we can change that one. We'll have that in stock. That actually looks the same size, so I'd imagine that's a 625 as well. But what can we do about the rub? I think we'll just have to do like we did with the Makita and just pack it out a little bit. So she's rubbing just down here. We'll have to pack it over this way. It is a little bit of play in it. So that's probably just worn there. You can see there's rust on it as well. That's probably not helped. The rust has probably caused it to be abrasive and worn the plastic a little bit. Takes nothing, barely any wear at all to cause these to start rubbing. Because you're working on magnets, and the closer you are to the metal, the stronger the magnetic force is. So you're using the magnets to repel. So the closer they can get it, the more powerful the motor. So they make it very, very tight tolerance. If you have it too much of a gap, it doesn't run, but then you have less power in it. Right, we'll do a wee quick job on this. Just change that bearing because it's going bad, and we'll just pack out this field a wee bit, and also just give it a quick wee blow out here as well, just to clean out some of this dust. So that's our clean, and that's new bearings, or new single bearing actually. Now to pack it out, we want to push it down this way, so we want to put something on here. We strip a paper, just cut to the right size. See the actual size of the steel laminates. No bigger than that, so it fits in this here gap. See that there's a wee bit tighter now. We just want it to come up and around this side, so it pushes down there. We don't need it to come the whole way around. So we'll just double that and take it back a wee bit. I'm just going to fold it in half then and double the size. That's as much as I need to put onto this, I think. Drop this back in. I should have put that in first. Yes, the paper will wear. It's not going to last, but neither does the plastic. That'll still wear away as well. As long as she's holding, it should be pushing on. Two in now. Look at that. Perfect. All it needs is a piece of paper, or you can just replace the body of the machine, the clamshell. But a little piece of paper is a lot cheaper than a new body. Clamshell is going to cost you about 20 or 30 euro. Still worth doing, but order it and getting it, it's just a lot quicker and easier to put on a piece of paper. If it ever happens again or wears out again, you can just still replace the paper. But I've done it several times in the Makitas, and it actually lasts for the life of the tool basically. It's only the odd time it ever actually wears out again. It's more rust, rusting up the stator, and that dust and the concrete dust getting on and causing vibrations, causing it to wear a wee bit again, cause it to wear more or wear away again. But it only happens the odd time. It's a brushless motor, so when you turn it, it will click. That's just a magnet been attracted to the different sides of the stator. That's normal. And it needs to be a good strong click as well. Brushless motors never actually just turn free. It's actually a sign that the magnet's too weak. It needs to be replaced. The rotor itself. But that should fix this. Look at that. Now, a new body would also sort out this here. Now, a new body might also sort out this here. It's a little bit slack, but I wouldn't want to go spending too much money, especially with the water damage or corrosion down on here. You don't know how much abuse this thing's been getting. Obviously it has been getting wet from the insides of it. I wouldn't want to go spending too much. That's her. Quick fix, one single bearing and a little bit of paper. Gets this up and running again. The new Bosch cordless brushless grinder, the 4.5 inch. That's her. Ready for work again. Now, next up is the Dewalt second fix gun. This one is the DCN660. We're well familiar with this one now. Customer says it's not working. I'm hoping that wasn't the problem. It's just the lock. Obviously that's not it. Trigger problem. Put her onto bump mode. The 3 wee nails. Pull on your trigger. That'll get the motor up and running. You hold on the trigger to keep the motor running, and then you just bump away. Every time you push it down, it fires a nail. You know it's a trigger problem if you put it into bump mode. You pull the trigger and the motor does nothing. Single shot, it won't do anything, but in bump mode, that should start as soon as you pull the trigger. So if I plunge it down now, I bet you the motor will start. In other words, the trigger's not doing anything. The motor's working, it's just whenever you pull the trigger, it ain't firing. So, standard problem this year. I've seen this 100 times before. That is just the trigger. It needs to be cleaned. The amount of people that have dumped or thrown out perfectly good Dewalt guns for this problem. Can't get into that one. They start doing this and they just dump it and buy another one if it's outside of the warranty. One, because they can't get anybody to fix it. But mainly because they don't know it's a very simple problem. Literally, but a contact cleaner will fix it, or even just a wee bit of compressed air. Anything will get this going again. Doesn't have to be contact cleaner. You can just blow it out yourself, and a wee flat screwdriver will make an improvement too. Never dump these things just for this. This has never been done before. You could easily have to do this here several times during the life of the machine. Pull off this tip. This is just called capped on tip, stuff that doesn't melt. Just holds on the wires, just sellotip. Take it off. I'm just going to use a brush. I normally take this out to the air compressor, but I'll just do this all on the bench here to show you. But you could easily just do this on the kitchen table. As long as you don't put a nail into it. So you're in the switch here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We push on clips. This is just what holds the switch together. So these are just clipped together. Look. Push a wee flat screwdriver just under it. Lift it up a wee tiny bit. Don't break them off. These two are together, so a wee bit harder. Lift one, and then just stick your finger beside it. They'll prise it up until you get the second one up. Once they're up there, get the back ones. But you don't need to break them, just lift them up a wee tiny bit, and they will come off. Finally then, just a split between the trigger. Just lift that a wee bit. Take that out. This one's actually not even all that dirty. See inside of there? See all that dust? That's just blocking the contacts. That's all it is. It's actually so dirty I don't even think it could be the problem. It must be. The switch is okay. And they're okay. This is the correct way to do it. Contact cleaner. Literally, just clean it out with us. Don't be using WD, don't be using any lubricant, anything that could have a lubricant in it. Because this is a flywheel and this is friction driven. Any oil gets onto this thing at all, that's it, scrapped. It's no longer going to work at all. Friction driven. The pin has been dropped down on top of the flywheel and it's friction that drives it forward. Any oil on it at all, it's not going to get enough friction. It'll drive it, but once it hits the timber, it just slips. It won't actually stick and drive it in fully. Happens all the time, boys. Spray a wee bit of WD up here to free things up, or spray something on here. It eventually migrates in and then gets onto the flywheel and the driver. Then you shoot the gun, especially longer nails if it's the roofing gun, the 90s, or these ones here, the 64mm. You'll shoot it and leave the nails sticking out about halfway. The gun's basically just destroyed. So don't be tempted to use any silicone lubricant or anything like that there. Just keep everything that could be oil or lube away from this thing. The last thing you can do, flat screwdriver. See this wee bar coming down here and goes across to this here trigger lever. Just get under it and just literally bend it up about half a hen's ear. And that'll put more tension onto the lever, so it's more likely to actually work. Less likely to actually miss or lose connection again. Clip it all back together. That's you done. Now make sure, just stick a battery in it and test it. Perfect. Stick it all back together again now. Put your heavier leads up here on top of the switch and your battery thinner. This is all going down here. You can use the tip again if you want, but there's no real need to. It just helps in the assembly process. If you're only putting it together once. 2 springs down in here. Just hook onto this. Make sure they're going all the way to the bottom. And your lever here. There's a wide side and a narrow side. The narrow side faces down. I'm also just going to clean that just while I'm at it. Because that sometimes gets fouled up as well. Sometimes it doesn't go into butt mode at all. So just in case I'll put some on that. Normally these are a lot worse. Surprised that wee bit of dust actually caused this one to stop. Pop that down. You actually slide it in and push the switch down at the same time. And these here smaller, narrower wires then. Just slide in between the body and the switch. But just make sure they're all tucked down here and not sitting up on the edge of the handle here. Otherwise you're going to pinch the wire and nip it whenever you put the body back, the other half of the body back on again. That's it. Just make sure there's nothing else in the way. The wire's going to get caught or snagged. Just close it up. And if you're going to use a cordless drill, reassemble it. Make sure you're using the clutch on, screw mode, and put it down to one of the lowest settings because these screws strip out very easily. They're only wee tiny screws going onto plastic. So that should be her. That should be your Dewalt second fix nail gun. Fixed. With just a little bit of contact cleaner. That's her. Like I say, that there is probably one of the most common repairs you're going to get on any brand, especially Dewalt. Every single one of these second fix Dewalt guns eventually needs that little repair done. Just a quick wee clean of the switch and that keeps it running. Instead of just getting 1 or 2 years out of it, you'll get plenty of years out of it then until the actual driver wears out or the axis wears out up on top. But even if the driver wears out, what, 70 or 80 euro actually replaces that there. The switch basically costing you as much as a ton of this stuff. That's her, ready to go. Now, last one I'm going to do today is just a bit of a shocking one, to be quite honest. Dewalt recip saw. The whole blade holder came off it. Snapped the pin holding the blade holder onto the spindle down in here. And this is just a wee bit shocking, simply for the parts. See if we can fix this one up. And hopefully do a cheap fix on it, because the proper way is going to be too expensive. I'll show you the problem. So this is the breakdown diagram for that Dewalt recip saw. Okay, and this here is the tool holder or shaft. That's the part number N026647. And she's basically a complete kit. It's mainly the whole tool holder and shaft assembly, and then you can buy a couple of bits separate. We'll actually have to replace these anyway if this does break. No pin. So we can't buy that little pin holding this head onto the shaft. You have to buy the whole thing together. And that is costing around 50 or 60 euro just for this. So instead of just replacing the pin, you have to replace the whole thing. Not good. Now fair enough, replacing that pin and pressing it in would not be an easy job. It's a tight fit and it'll be hard to actually press it in. But not impossible. If you actually look at the Bosch recip saw, it's a whole challenge and a whole ordeal just to actually fix the tool retainer, the actual clamp, the lever assembly for locking in your blade, let alone just pressing in a pin. So this one, we're going to see if we can fix it without replacing the entire thing, because I really don't feel like trying to take off this big heavy spring as well, because that there's on fairly tight. I'll see if I can just leave it the way it is, knock this out and replace it with something else. It's a bit ridiculous. Dewalt's looking for that. Replace all of that just for this problem. But what to use? That's my problem. It's not like it's a roll pin in that. It looks like a solid steel pin. I'm going to have to get into the motor as well to replace it. The shaft doesn't come out further than the housing here. Now, if we can get away with this wee quick fix, I'm just going to leave the rest of it because it is fairly dirty and it's done quite a bit of work. Recip saws never get an easy life. We'll see if we can knock these parts out first. Now, something solid to rest it on. You could also just use a vise or something. And something for tapping. It's a solid steel pin. Aye, what do I have that'll fit in there? Aye, if this works, it'll be a very cheap wee fix. If it works, all you're going to need is a nail. Not just a timber nail. This one here is an actual steel nail, as in for concrete. These are extremely hard. This will do the job. If anything's going to hold, it'll be this. And she's a tight enough fit. So this is around 3mm. This is a 3x50 steel nail. You also get them 2.5 and 3.5. This is the middle one. So we can knock that on. Best thing about it, if we do, this does fit and get it on. There's nothing on the inside of here. So once that goes fully back, doesn't matter how much this is sticking out, it's not going to interfere or snagging anything. It's completely open. So we can have it sticking out, and then potentially we could leave it a bit long and heat up the end of it and actually round it over so it definitely can't come out. And hopefully it'll never break. So that's what I'm going to do here. See if I can stick this back together again with a nail. Don't forget the wee LED. Take the whole thing out. I'll try it here first on the bench. If it doesn't work, we'll try it over in the bearing press then. But first of all, we'll try it here. Just so everybody at home, anyone who has this problem at home can try as well. See that it can be done without a bearing press. Instead of a steel plate, you can also just use a concrete floor. We have to knock the rest of this pin out, is the problem. Still in here. And it is tight. It is moving, but it is slow. Actually, I think I'm bottomed out here. Yeah. That's too thick now. Actually, another steel nail. Just use a smaller steel nail. Now tip, if you want to use a steel nail as a punch, don't hold it. Use pliers. If this thing skates on you or rings, that hurts. It's just balancing on the very edge. Second pair of hands will be handy as well. Actually, that nearly got it. There we go. Steel nail is actually good for centering it too. Right. Now we have to get this one back on. And I'm going to shorten this first. Just a touch. Cut it to size and put a wee chamfer on it. Just to help it slide on. Hopefully this will work. There's only one way to find out. Now, would that not be a lot cheaper than replacing the whole thing? Would I be wise to keep hitting that? Stop when you're ahead. No, we got away with it. I was expecting it to crack there. The aluminium case here, and your aluminium up here, and this is just powdered metal up here. If you miss, you're causing damage. Right, I'm just going to nip that off. Leave it at that. Don't forget the glasses. I've got no eyelashes left to use the safety squints. I think that'll do rightly. The other thing is, did I put that on back to front? I didn't even think of that. It needs to be on so that I can gauge on this lever. Has been lifted and pushed down. Yeah, safe enough. Ooh, worried there for a second. Don't know how to put it on the wrong way. Right, surprised that works so well. Seems it did work. I'll just give it a quick wee clean down. Well, the body anyway. Give that a wee blow of the compressor. More so just to clean up the switch. Right. It's a bit cleaner. That's the side we need. Should we change lever on here first to actually see if we can just drop the whole thing in actually? I think from memory this LED needs to go first. It just sort of hooks under here. And this goes on top of it, you see. There we go. That sits like that. Nice nuts on, everything else just drops on. And that should be it. Hopefully, get this thing up and running again. Wee leg there, or lever, you get the pin on. That's just hooking onto the body of the aluminium housing down here. She's a snug fit. Do it the other way. Has to go under there. Sit on top. So you have to do it this way, just to get it to fit. Much better. So you can spend €50 buying that whole tool holder assembly from Dewalt, or you can buy a steel nail basically. Costs what, 5 cents, 10 cents, €4 or €5 if you buy a whole bag, whole box of them. We'll call it €10 because you need 2 boxes if you can't get them singly. You need the 2.5 to knock the old one out, and you need the 3mm to replace the one that's broke. But imagine not selling that pin for such a simple thing. And this one here, your bracket, centers this top part of the lever. All of the blades still installed. Actually, the actual tool holder still works. That's her. That's it, folks. That is how you repair your Dewalt cordless recip saw. The DCS367 if your blade holder actually ever comes off the shaft. Steel nail is all you need. Not very good from Dewalt, the fact that they don't sell that there part on its own, and the fact that the whole tool holder costs so much. But at least we now know we can quickly fix it with 2 steel nails. 2.5 to knock out the old pins, and a 3mm to actually replace it with. And the steel nail as well, that there, is literally as hard as nails. These, if we're going into concrete, not timber, these don't bend or break very easily, even you're hammering into solid concrete. So that's it, folks. That's as good as anyone to actually end today's video on the Dewalt recip saw repair. Anyway, folks, that's it. Hope you enjoyed this wee repair video. As always, if you're liking the videos, make sure to drop a wee like down the bottom, and make sure, if you haven't done already, to hit that subscribe button. And if you want to get any notifications whenever new videos uploaded, hit that notification bell as well. But till next time, folks, I'll chat to you all later. Thanks again for watching. Cheers.